Mike the Disgruntled Mechanic here. Today we're going to replace a belt, serpentine belt, on a 2002 Chevy 2500HD with the 6.6 Duramax diesel in it. Pretty straightforward, but I'll see how things go. What happened with this is I always had a squeak with the belt, it seemed. It's original. There's almost 90,000 miles in this truck. It's time to replace it. But I replaced the power steering pump and I put on the same old belt, and it's, you know, still squeaking. It may not, the pulley on the power steering pump may not be lined up properly or put at the right spot from when I put it on. I didn't check. And I may or may not show you the way to check that depending on what goes on. So let's go ahead with this, and at minimum we will put this serpentine belt on this truck. One of the first steps you want to do is make sure that you have a diagram, and the proper diagram for the routing of your belt. If you don't have it on the vehicle, map it out somehow, draw it down, do whatever you have to do so you get the belt on properly on all the pulleys so that it runs properly. I'm not planning on reusing this belt and putting it back on, but you never know. Odder stuff has happened, so I'm just going to mark a direction on it here so I know how it goes back on if I have to put this old one back on. So now I'm just going to get on the tensioner here and get this belt off. So now we'll just take the belt off, and watch how you take it off, of course, because that'll help you put it back on. Now we're going to see if the power steering pulleys lined up. We'll talk about that in a minute. So I want to see if the power steering pulleys lined up because I had replaced the power steering pump, put it on. I thought I took the right measurements, but the belt was squeaking. It squeaked before. We'll take the belt off, see what that looks like, and then we'll go about seeing using the tool to see how our pulleys line up. So what I got is the belt diagnostic kit, laser and wear and tensioner. So we're going to use part of this to look at this belt. Now this belt has 90,000 miles on it, so it owes me absolutely nothing. But as you can see, there's a tool here to put this in the groove, and it's not supposed to really go down in the groove when you hold it level, and it's down in there pretty good. Almost 90,000 miles. Can't beat that. So we'll just compare this to the new one. We have to compare it. We'll compare the grooves, but then we'll also try and compare the length to make sure it's the right belt. I'd say that there's quite a bit of difference in them. It's a little overdue for one. So we'll just stretch them out and see. I matched the number right off the belt, so I'm pretty sure that it's correct, but it's hard to tell here, but stretching it, it's about the same. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use this laser on the pulleys and see how our pulleys match up. So let's go ahead and do that. So this is supposed to actually go on your crank pulley, but to get down to it, and you're not going to have a clear shot, I'm just going to go off of the air conditioning compressor with it. And what happens is when you put it on there, this little switch here will turn that on. So and make sure you're in the same grooves. That's the main thing. So we turned it on up here and we got it set. So we'll get this in the same grooves and we'll put it down. I'm not sure how that'll show up, but what I can see is, being in the same grooves, this pulley has to go back. So we'll move this over one groove, the one on the bottom one, and then we'll move this one on the top one over just to make sure. And yes, it shows it has to go back. So we're in the grooves for sure. We'll go all the way over here and look. And yeah, the whole pulley on the power steering has to go back, because the air conditioning compressor, you know, it's a constant. It didn't change. So what I messed with had to. So in order to do that, I got to remove the half shroud. To get the tool in there, I have to remove this half shroud, remove I think this is the transmission control module cover. So we have to move all that to put the tool on. So we'll start doing that. Couple of 10 millimeters here. Couple of 10 millimeter bolts and a couple of the plastic rivets. That'll get that out of here. Takes care of that. Well, I didn't realize that the ECM was in the way. Let's get the power steering tool on and slowly push that pulley back in. At this point, I have the tool mounted, and all I do from here is tighten up on it, the tool, to push the pulley back in. I didn't realize, once again, that I had put that in front of the camera. It's just not remembering where you had the camera set. But that's all I did, was I pushed the pulley back in to get it lined up, and we'll see where it goes from there. I'm just using the wrenches now to tighten up on the tool itself to put it in. Tough to get this set up to show a lot, but well, we'll do what we can. Just a quick tip: when you start the belt in and you go down in there, I tried to make a loop to get around the crankshaft pulley first and then work the belt around the rest of the way. This has to come. Yep, then this goes down over the first idler down here. And then up over the generator. Onto the other idler. Now, I know you can't see it, but there's another idler down there. What I'm going to do to help me hold this is this part of the belt here. I am going to put a wire tie around. Don't forget about it when you start the engine, of course. Just found that this helps to keep stuff sort of where it should be until you're ready to put tension on it. So there, that's that. That tensioner, we got to get around the other, that idler, around this other idler. Now, if we're still on the pulley, which we look like we're pretty close, we'll get the rest of this belt up. And we'll get our tool and get it on the tensioner. Should have grabbed my tool first. Now let's go grab it. Alright, let's see if we can. I usually like to try and put it on a idler because it's smooth, but this is a real pain in the, it's just a real pain. You have to come back up behind the tensioner. Let's leave it off the one idler in the front here. Get it up behind the tensioner here. Take it off here since we got the one on the generator. We got that one cable tied, wire tied. So now I'm trying to get on the tensioner. I'm on the tensioner. Get behind this other idler. Alright, get our tool on here. I don't know if this will work this way or not, but we're going to give her a shot. Now it slipped off my tensioner a bit, but there it's on. Alrighty. Now let's make sure everything's on down at our crank. I know you guys can't really see it, but you can enjoy the fun with me. Alright, it looks like it's on the crank. It's on our pulleys. I got on our idlers. I'm going to adjust it on that one idler a little bit. It's not quite on the power steering pump on the bottom, so we're just going to tighten this up. Then we'll get everything outlined and we'll be back. Okay, so we got it back on. Made sure I cut the wire tie off. So there we have it. That's installing the belt. I haven't started it yet. Guess you guys want to see that. Cross your fingers for me. I've been having a bad streak of luck with stuff. I'm going to check everything here. I'm going to check there's no tools laying around, and then I'll turn the camera back on when I go to start it. So I guess it was worth it. No more squeaks. She started, she ran good, she's charging. So there you have it. Okay, thanks for watching. This is Mike the Disgruntled Mechanic. Just remember, if you can get somebody else to do it, you're probably better off. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Oh, you dirty, rotten bolt! How could you break off? You dirty, rotten mother! Oh, dirty, rotten! How dare you break? Oh, I can't believe it broke off! Not again! Oh, man alive! Son of a... Oh, I can't believe it broke off! Jesus! No wonder I'm the disgruntled mechanic!